Hello everybody, I'm Stacey with Stacey's Organizing and Decorating for Life, or StaceyForLife.com. I'm here to help you organize your thoughts and decorate your perspectives. So today our topic is going to be about feeling worthless and finding purpose. And we're going to talk about 3 ways that we can maintain that and keep that. So if you like that that's our topic today, please hit the like and subscribe button below. I think right now, this day and time, many people are feeling worthless. There's many reasons and many underlying feelings to feeling worthless. You know, the reasons right now is that what's going on in the world has made many people feel hopeless, which feeling hopeless can make people feel worthless. Feeling helpless can make people feel worthless. Feeling lonely can make a lot of people feel worthless. Feeling fear and that compounding can make people feel worthless. There's also the addictions. There's also the overeating being part of that, and people have put on weight, and that can make people feel bad and worthless. And then, what they have the expectations of themselves. And then there's people who are unemployed. The big ones, people are unemployed and have no money, and they feel worthless. And there's the loneliness, the depression, and things like this make people feel worthless. So there's a lot that goes into feeling worthless. And I think that many of us, all that being said, many of us feel worthless at different points and times in our lives. The thing is how do we come out of feeling worthless to a place of feeling purpose? Let me explain to you those definitions right quick, okay? Because when we feel worthless is like having no real value or use, having no good qualities, and deserving contempt. And that sounds like you're talking about a product, or that we were talking about a product when we say that, But the thing is that people internalize that, and they actually do feel that way due to these outside circumstances. So healing is an inside job to find our purpose. The thing is that if we sit on the couch, or if we sit in the room and we keep talking to people, the ain't it awfuls, and the people that validate our feeling worthless, we even actually will look for evidence and proof of why we feel worthless sometimes, rather than seeking a solution. When we get sick and tired of being sick and tired, or the pain gets great enough, we tend to find solutions. Some people who are feeling worthless right now have sought solutions and are just waiting, going through the waiting process. And it seems like it's taken forever because of the tone of the energies right now, with people and everything going on in the world. It's just about continuing to have faith. So I just have to tell you to continue to have faith, that know that everything is building up and healing as it should, or hopefully is healing as it should. And it's that helpless feeling because we don't know, and that uncertain feeling because we don't know. But if we're lifting that vibe up to the universe and asking for that to happen, we have to believe it when we do that, because everything that our spiritual teachers have taught us talks about that you have to have belief behind it. The faith of a mustard seed. There's other things, but I know that's the big one, and it's just having something to believe in, whether it's the universe, whether it's energy, whether, whatever your source is, the divine, having something, helps us find and serve our purpose, because what do we want to be in service for? And I'm not saying that you have to have any of that to be of service, because people don't have to have any of that to be of service. But service is how we find our purpose, see? So how do we get there when we're feeling sick, sad, and sorry, and pain? We seek relief. So we have to find people who have done, found a way out of that. So right now, addictions are running rapid, because there are people who said that they've put on weight and maybe they've gained a food addiction. There's people who've sat in front of the TV the whole time. There's people who have gotten into escaping with drugs. There are people who, maybe are gambling. I don't even know if you could get in the casinos for a while, but that could be one too. And then there's obviously sex, and then there's video games. I'm sure video game addiction is running rampant right now. And TV, like I said before. So, not to repeat myself. So there's all those things why people, may use to escape, but may end up causing them greater pain, and they're not even realizing it, on a subconscious level. So when we're seeking to find peace, And peace is something that a lot of people are looking for right now, is how do we get to a place of peace? And again, it's through that purpose, and it's being able to step out and seek. And that seeking and making that first step out is very scary. I myself, June 14th, 1997, stepped out and got a sponsor. See, before that, I had thought that if anybody did anything for me, that I would have to repay them in some way, that there was to have to be an exchange there or something. But getting a sponsor, see, they gave me what was freely given to them. So that started that ripple effect. And that's how I learned about this ripple effect thing, is that they had no expectation of me. They just, as long as I was willing to do the work, do what they did to get where they got, you see, because the same kind of people who I used to use with had to teach me how not to use, because they had that relation, right? So I had to seek that and find those people. And the thing was that I learned from that people were willing to help you, without any expectation. Now, I'm not talking about money. They helped me unbury my soul so I could do this soul work that I talked to you about last week. So they helped me unbury my soul so that I could have better thoughts and better perspectives myself. So now I'm able to help others with their thoughts and perspectives. So that gave me my purpose. But I didn't even know in 1997 that I was going towards my purpose. I didn't know that was my purpose. So I just did what I was supposed to do, and then I had faith. But the thing was even though I learned how to stay clean and sober, and I finally started, when I did that, I finally learned how to finish and complete stuff. Once I was able to finish and complete the 12 steps, I was able to get my GED. After I was also able to get my first degree black belt, my second degree black belt, and to end up owning the karate studio that I worked out at. But the thing was that I still didn't know how to do life on life's terms. And see, that's what I help people with too, is living life on life's terms. Not everybody needs a 12-step program to do that. But that's one of the things that's hard for people, and that might make people feel worthless too, and why they take this all personal is that they don't know that that's life on life's terms, is that a lot of people go through things that we go through, and even greater problems, than we've been through, and they don't take it personal. They learn how to use that feeling worthless. They learn how to use that being tired of feeling that way to propel themselves to serving their purpose. So just because I did all of that didn't know that I knew anything more. See, this was the thing of me learning to learn. And when I learned to learn, I learned to teach. So then I had to learn about my codependency, see, because I ended up with a failed marriage was why I ended up with a failed karate studio. Is that I didn't know how to have a healthy marriage. I didn't know how to have healthy relationships, even though just because I had done the work on not using, so I had to learn how to have healthy relationships. So now I can teach other people how to have healthy relationships through what I learned about experiencing codependency. I learned in the codependency what's my business, God's business, and somebody else's business. I learned that not everything was about me. And that was very helpful, to learn that. And it gave me a lot of peace and a lot of freedom that I didn't have to control some things, and that it was very freeing. And it's even more freeing because it's an underlying to many of the addictions, because that's why people run away, that flight or fight that I've talked about in previous videos, because they don't want to deal with what is underneath all of that. But I learned to deal with what is underneath all of that so I could help other people deal with what's underneath all of that. Still serving my purpose, even gaining, more experience and more knowledge. But it didn't feel good. I didn't get there by feeling good. And then once, I did that, I lost my son after 13 years clean. But I still knew I had a purpose, you see. So I didn't go back and use, and that was what people were afraid that I would do. But I didn't go back and use because my purpose was still to help people. And it was even more so to help people than it was even before. Everything I've gone through has helped me be more of service and have more of a purpose, because I knew that it wasn't all about me when I lost my son. I knew that there's my business, God's business, and somebody else's business. And his agreement with God was between him and God. It wasn't about me. So I didn't have to take that all personally. I did feel all the feelings of grief and still do sometimes. But I also know how to honor and love. And like many people say, through that loss, I got even more spiritual. I got to have more of a connection with the divine and the universe. And so that helps me share that with other people too. Helps them to be in acceptance of their grief and acceptance of all the losses and all of the things that they regret. It helps me turn that regret to acceptance of who they are and their purpose. So you see, that's been my journey for my purpose, but it doesn't stop. I still life coach and I still sponsor. And there's a difference between life coach and sponsor. A life coach helps people not with a 12-step program. A life coach helps people go through the closets, like I've said before, and sift through stuff to find what people need to keep and what they need to get rid of to help them reach their desired goals and dreams and outcomes, And so sometimes people get so overwhelmed that that's what they need, is somebody just to help them get focused, to help them clean out what's not going to serve them anymore and to find what they need to do, And then they get to follow their dreams, because sometimes we forget what our dreams are. So when I came in the room in 1997, I did not know that I was going to be a life coach over here in Cancun, Mexico in 2020. So I had some uncertainty, obviously, in between there. I had a lot of pain in between there, but all that pain and feeling worthless, because I can tell you that when I was in my addiction, I felt worthless. When I had to get a divorce and give up my karate studio, I felt worthless. When I lost my son and I felt helpless, I didn't know how to deal with that. I felt worthless. But through all that feeling worthless, I've gained a purpose, and I'm able to help other people. Because I'm not in this alone. There were people who helped me. And so through that, I'm able to help others, and we continue to do that. I have a sponsee now. Just because I have 23 years doesn't mean I don't sponsor people still. I have a sponsee now, and I still, attend the programs and stuff. And she saw a picture of me and, some of my girls from Texas. And she asked me, who's that in that who are those people in the picture? And I was like, oh, that's my girls, my sisters in Texas, Then I've gotten to work with them, and then they have girls that they've worked with. And so I showed her that, and she said, oh, wow. And, everybody in this picture looks happy. They're all smiling. We're all having a good time, as we do. And so she asked me, are they married? Are they all married? And I said, yeah, pretty much. There's a few maybe not, but yeah, most are married. But we weren't always like this. We didn't come in the room like this, where we look all happy and our eyes are sparkly and our smiles are bright and wide. And there was some pain and feeling worthless before we got to that picture, and so it gave her some hope, because I'm like, who knows? In 5 years, you may be in a picture with me smiling like that and stuff. We may be in a picture like that, And so it gave her some hope, And that's my purpose, is to still keep building that. So when you look at the definition of purposeful, it's having or showing determination or resolve. And you don't need determination if you're not struggling, right? I mean, isn't that the opposite? Like, if you're struggling, you need determination, because if everything's going smooth, then maybe your determination doesn't need to be. I'm not saying that it's always struggle, but if you're determined, you're going to make something happen. So that's coming out of feeling worthless, is what I'm saying, is you don't have to feel worthless, but it's going to require some determination. It doesn't just happen. Like, I used to sit on the couch before I got clean and just wish things would happen for me. And then when it didn't happen for me, but I saw it happening for other people, make up stories why it was happening for other people, but wasn't me. But when really I was sitting on the couch not doing anything of determination and work and skill. I had to learn that I had to do what other people did to get what they got. So Now I'm even studying Christine Sani. She's like a mentor to me. She's helped me a great deal because she is above me what I want to do. She's written a book. I'm writing a book. She has, gotten all this stuff on the web, and she does purposeful stuff. She helps people, and I'm going to get back to her in a minute. But I'm going to give you first, before I get back to Christine Sani and what she asked me the other day and what I responded, I'm going to give you the 3 things that keep you on your purpose-driven life, that you need to do to stay on that scale, that place, and to stay in that momentum. How we don't find that losing our purpose, because many people find their purpose and they're happy in it, but there's these things that happen that they think that they don't need to do it anymore. So number 1 is, like I just shared about my sponsee, thinking there is a plateau to what you can do, be, and receive by giving. Like, there is no plateau to what we can do. We get to continue, live, love, learning, and growing. There's so much still yet I get to learn by helping other people, whether it be through life coaching or sponsoring, because I learn something from everybody that I get to work with. So it's just beautiful. I got to go from that feeling contracted to so expansive that I love learning now. And I haven't always been this way. Trust. You heard me say I had to get a GED. I was an underachiever in school. So now I'm like overachieving, or trying to overachieve anyway. It's just doing my best every day like other people. I wouldn't say I'm overachieving, but I'm doing my best every day like I encourage others to do. That one thing every day, being grateful every day. Step 2 of this is stopping because of challenges. We don't stop because of challenges of living a purpose-filled life. In fact, the challenges give us more purpose. Just like I said, when I found out I was addicted, I kept going, and finding my purpose in that and helping others. Then when I found out I had codependency issues, we kept going. Then when I found out when my son passed, and my daughter was in a tragic accident, by the way, that day too. So when all of that happened, I didn't stop, and I didn't feel cursed, and I didn't keep going. I knew that I could use that to help others, and others held me up. I didn't do it by myself, but because of their holding me up, I had a sense of gratitude to help others, is what I'm saying. And I had that sense of purpose to help others because people felt a sense of purpose to help me. So it's not an ugly reciprocation. It's a one filled with grace. That's how we get grace, y'all. So then the third one, the last one, is if you have wrong motivations and intentions for, serving your purpose and helping another person, and that means with expecting to get something back for yourself. For me, when I help another person and they help somebody else, that gets me super excited. When I help people and I see a light bulb go off in their heads, that gets me super excited because I know that I'm serving my purpose. Because that's what I'm supposed to do, is to help others, just like others helped me. And that helped me believe that there are people who really want to see you do good and help you, which helps me help people see that they really want to do good and help people. See, because that's the thing is, I got the opportunity to be in a women's sharing meeting on Friday with a couple of the women that I've worked with, but also some more women. And it was beautiful to see how they would open up. The topic was compassion, and it was beautiful to see how these women opened up and didn't realize that other women wanted to be helpful to them, and that some were embarrassed. They weren't used to speaking and being vulnerable in front of other women, or afraid of sounding silly. But once you do it, you're able to do it, And you can't get compassion if you're not willing to be vulnerable, because people won't know you need it. Just like I learned in codependency about how to use my big girl words to express my wants and dreams and desires, but also how to handle rejection if somebody didn't want to reciprocate and do that, and to still be able to be in a loving place and go forward still yet and serve my purpose. To know that the journey is mine and not somebody else's, I get to hear all the time, and people who I, inspire me, people who inspire me. So speaking of people who inspire me, I'm going to close with this. Christine Sani asked us she asked in a question, what did it mean to be hopeful, Stacey Reineck? So my answer back, sometimes when my soul is speaking through me, I may not remember. So I've got to read part of my answer back. But the thing was that I told her exactly that I know my soul and I know my purpose. And so with that being said, I said, I know my soul and I know my purpose. But I also said, I choose to be a ripple, but imagine being a wave of gratitude and a tide of love. So that's what I told her is I choose to be a ripple, but imagine a wave of gratitude and a tide of love. Because I keep that imagination going, and I'm already grateful for what I want to receive, because I know that if I've thought it, that it's something that is possible for me. And it's possible for you too. I tell you all of this hoping that it will give you some strength when you're feeling worthless to know, yes, you can overcome feeling worthless, and you can find a purpose, and you can be of service through that purpose. And that is what you were put here to do, is that when you're being happy, you're making others happy. So I hope that that's been helpful. I'm going to also close with a quote by Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant says, when asked about purpose, he says, the late Kobe Bryant, rest his soul. He says, I'm reflective only in the sense that I learn to move forward. So with that being said, I hope that this week you continue to move forward, that you pick that one thing to do per day or per week, whichever is not going to overwhelm you. So do that one thing per day or per week. Find one thing to be grateful for, at least one thing a day to be grateful for, because stuff grows. Whatever feelings you're feeling will grow. If you're feeling worthless and you choose not to seek a way out, you're going to continue to feel worthless more and more. But if you seek a way out, you get to learn. And that learning makes everything expand, because once you start learning, you can continue learning. And it becomes fun to learn. It becomes something that makes things seem more achievable once you get started, honestly. And it can be overwhelming to get started. So sometimes you just have to believe because somebody else believes. And just know that I believe. And I hope that you'll have a good rest of the week. And if you'd like to, reach out to me, feel free to. It's staceyreineck@gmail.com. Also, you can find me on any of the social media. Well, not any, but you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram under just Stacey Reineck. And so, if you'd like to share with me what you're going through and tell me about your journey, I would be more than happy to listen. But until next week, I wish you much peace. No, this is peace. I wish you much peace and love. So thank you. Bye.